Welcome back to Twin Tarot. I'm Gary, and this is not David. So, do another solo tonight. I may have mentioned this on an earlier video, just in case you missed that one. Dave and I are going to probably throttle back some of the quantity of videos we put out during the week. We've been trying to put out a video a day. Since over the last year, we've probably put out a video a day. And, Dave's busy. He's got, not only does he have a full-time job, which is pretty stressful, he's also got his Tarot by the Bay channel. There's the Twin Tarot channel. He and I do 2 lives a month with Marina. We do 1 live together. And he's been on, not David needs a pillow. And he's also been guest appearing on Hogarth as well. So he's busy. And, he's got other things going on in his life as well. So something needs to give, So he and I discussed where he and I will probably do 3 readings a week. I may fill that out a few extra days doing solos with not David here. But, the channel may go dark once or twice a week. We'll just see how it goes. It really depends on what's going on in the news. So, I'm doing a solo tonight. I was looking in the news to see if there was anything interesting. The only thing that was somewhat interesting, and it's a little bit old now, is that Erica Kirk had thrown her support to her man, J.D. Vance, there for the 2028 presidential election. And then they had a bit of an awkward hug on stage in Phoenix. That would have been kind of interesting, but I just don't feel like giving them any energy. What I thought I'd do instead is, how far along the Trump timeline are we? I'm sure we have, over the last year and a half, certainly given our understanding of when we're going to be through this. Dave was seeing the last time David had actually read on this specifically, I think he just released one for the solstice. But prior to this week, he kind of saw his power waning by the solstice. Last time I did it, it was March-ish, that first quarter, end of the first quarter. So I just want to know, where are we on the Trump timeline? Are we there yet? All of us are in the car wishing this would be over because we've had enough. And, I'm seeing very encouraging signs. It's more than just chipping at the edges like we had with the No Kings protests. I think the last protest really was kind of, if you want to say we started turning the corner, it was that last protest. Where they had 7 to 10 million people out there, by the official counts. Then you've had the whole the special elections, and now you're starting to see Congress starting to push back and starting to take some actions. We've had 2 of those special votes. I'll stand by. I just want to get the right name. Okay, I'm back. It was the discharge petition. That's the phrase I was looking for. We've had 2 of those. I mean, when was the last time we had a discharge petition, right? Forced a vote on the House floor. So we're starting to see tangible signs, right? The federal courts have definitely been pushing back. It's really the Supreme Court that has been thwarting the efforts of the judicial branch. So, for entertainment purposes only, how close are we to the end of this? To the end of the Trump regime? To the end of having to deal with this crap that we're going through? I mean, Congress is starting to take on stuff in a bipartisan nature just because Trump is pushing them further and further out. And I just want to see, are we there yet? For entertainment purposes only, how far along the Trump timeline are we? Are we almost to the end? Okay, foundation reading is judgment. Have you seen, he's shown you who he is. He's shown you what the agenda is. Have you had enough? The whole foundation is this is going to keep going until enough people stand up and are counted. The challenge is the Ten of Wands, the burden that we have to bear until the least of us finally agrees that the Overton window has passed them, that Trump's actions can no longer be defended. There has to be enough people to do it, and the rest of us have to shoulder that burden until they learn the lesson. To me, and the reason why I had said earlier that I felt wouldn't be until like March, the end of first quarter. Well, partially because when I asked the cards, that's kind of the indication. But Gary, the analyst, is like, okay, we haven't quite suffered enough. Those of us that are, more empathetic, more sympathetic, who don't drink the Trump Kool-Aid, we've had enough for a long time. It's the people that thought he was still the best thing since sliced bread, or were still buying all the nonsense he was selling and voting against their interests. Those were the ones that needed to learn. And in my mind, it's like, okay, not until they pass that big, beautiful budget, and not until the ACA tax credits disappear, and people really have to stare this huge medical expense right in the face. And then and only then are they going to realize what the hell they voted for. I'm hopeful that with this vote that Congress can come up with some sort of compromise to extend the ACA tax credits. But we'll see. I mean, there's no guarantee on this. It's got to pass the House. It's got to pass the Senate. And then Trump's got to approve it. So we know how he feels about that. Anyways, back to the reading. Okay, so we needed enough people to stand up. He's been showing you who he is, telling you what he's going to do. He's been doing it. We will have to wait for everyone to stand up. And it's a burden for those of us that have been standing up for a while. The energy underneath it is the Nine of Swords. This is just, it's creating a nightmare, a lot of anxiety in the United States and our allies and neighbors. It's just a nightmare situation. In the past, you got the Emperor. Hey, you know what? You gave the man immunity. You surrounded him full of yes men. He is acting like a king. Current energy is the Five of Pentacles. But his actions are excluding more and more people. More and more people are getting shut out, are being, having their needs rejected and neglected. All right. And these are the people that have been supporting him. All right. These are the people that needed to stand up. And he's treating them like crap. The ACA tax credits, man, that's going to be a big one. Holding the Epstein information, not releasing it. That's what these people want. Overarching energy is the Three of Pentacles. This, to me, is the folks in the House, the folks in Congress, starting to work together. They're having their meetings, perhaps not as public as, kind of like behind the scenes meetings, saying enough's enough. And that's why you're getting these discharge petitions. This is kind of maybe how the discharge petition comes around, right? Lesson to be learned. Seven of Wands, we had, you have to defend your democracy. You have to defend your Constitution. Trump is attacking it at all, every chance he gets, he's attacking it. And you need to defend. I forget who it was in the comments. There might have been more than one. Where people were talking about their experience in high school and college in the 60s and 70s, and how they were part of all the protests. And this person had gone on to say, in the aughts, they were trying to warn the college students that, you can't be complacent. And at that point, they could see where Roe v. Wade could be in jeopardy. And I think that was the example they gave. Um, and I, and they were right. I can look back at my college years, and I had never got involved in protests. Apartheid was the big thing when I was in college. And I know in my mindset back then what it was is like, well, what is my voice going to make a difference? This is a whole country. This is a culture that's half a world away. What are they going to care about some kid that went to San Francisco State and marched around and shouted and screamed? That no one's going to care about that. But, what I didn't realize at that age was that actually one voice can make a difference, because you get enough of those one voices and you have a big enough protest, and then the news picks it up and then they show it, and then other people see what's going on and they think, hey, you know what? That's something I can sign up for. And that's how a movement starts. And we're seeing that with the No Kings protests, how each time we have one, they get bigger and more people are participating. And that's because of the actions of the administration. So your voice does count. And that was something the 20-year-old Gary didn't understand, but the 60-year-old Gary does get. So my apologies for not being more of an activist. But here we are. I went to my first protest at the tender age of 59, so I'm getting there too. But we need to defend our Constitution. We need to defend our laws. We need to defend our democracy. What's the outcome of this? The Ace of Pentacles. We have a new beginning. We have a whole new appreciation for our values, and we have a chance to start this over. Okay, so are we there yet? The Ace of Pentacles is actually a really interesting card. That is not a bad card to have. It suggests a beginning. And you can't have a beginning unless you have an end. So it tells me that we're almost through this. So let's what kind of things will we see? What actions will we see just prior to the beginning? Maybe we're seeing them now. We'll see. What actions are we going to see as we come to the end and start this new beginning, where we have new values and we understand and appreciate what we have here? Okay. Hey, I want to give a shout out to June Wagner. June, I know I got your email about trying to get together for a video, and I think that's a wonderful idea. I would love it if you sent me a link and then you could host it. That way we could have it on your channel and get some people going over to your channel to check out what you're putting out. But I was railing against AI the other day, and how I don't like AI because there's not always a disclaimer that it's AI generated. And especially when it's trying to be passed off as serious news, I really don't like that, because it's hard enough with traditional news sources being fast and loose with the facts. You don't need to generate just a completely false narrative. However, June had tapped into one that I fully support, which is like rabbits on a trampoline, bunnies on a trampoline. Those ones I'm totally great with. It's AI. Yeah, it never really happened, but they're fun as hell. June's husband, Kevin, is a quadriplegic, but there's a video she put out of Kevin in a Buffalo Bills jersey, because June is a big Buffalo Bills fan. And he is beating on the drums. He's got a drum kit and he's going at it. And it was great. It was a glorious short. I hope you guys check it out. I'll see if I can get a title for it. Let me pause it, see if I got a title on my phone for it. Stand by. Okay, so I found the video. It's a short. It's only about 10-12 seconds long. I posted it on our community page. It's great fun. So if you want, take a pause on this and go check it out if you haven't, or take a look at it after the video's over here. So well done, June. I loved the video. Go get him, Kevin. Good for you. Okay, so what I want to ask is what things are we going to see? What actions are we going to see when we know that we are done? That we're at the very, very, very end. And we may be there now. Let's take a look. Tell me, what do I need to know? What actions are we going to see? Okay, Two of Pentacles. This could be, the balance is starting to be reachieved. It's funny. You got all the blue waves. My first thought is, I wonder if those are the sanctioned ships in Venezuela. But you're starting to see a balance where the people are starting to weigh the actions and the benefits and whether they make sense. The challenge is the Seven of Swords. Just trying to, we're trying to achieve a balance because we're trying to get out of the situation we're finding ourselves in. The people that are being alienated are, how people are being treated, and we're trying to get them to safety. What are we going to see when we're near the end? Lovers, relationships, understanding, compassion, agreements, showing care for each other and for the people around us. In the past, you got the Four of Cups, just not happy, and finally a solution is going to be offered to us. There's something that's coming to us finally that helps us turn that corner. Three of Wands, where it could be from overseas. It's actions that are taken that affect the future. Once again, I'm kind of wondering if it's got something to do with Venezuela, because now I've got two things where I'm seeing ships. I'm seeing boats. I'm seeing boats. I'm seeing boats. Overarching energy. The Ten of Cups. People are finally starting to come together and understand what it is that's important. Celebrating family. Lesson to be learned. The Five of Cups. We had to go through this. We had to deal with this crap in order to move forward, in order to put an end to this terrible behavior. It's how do we near the end? I mean, there could be a loss. It could be someone important passes away or is incapacitated. Something happens where we're seeing all the devastation and the loss. There's hope. It's right behind us, but we're now focused on what we're losing. And the outcome is the High Priestess, the secrets that get revealed. I mean, gosh, this could totally be the Epstein case too, right? Both sides coming together, the balance between wanting to know and prosecute pedophiles versus, are you sure that you want to know? Because they may be some of the people that you supported in the past. And then you got, not happy with the release of the information, but there's going to be a release coming from overseas that everyone is going to celebrate because it's going to expose what was going on behind the scenes all this time. It's going to create loss for, the victims and the survivors of this whole thing, and the secrets will be revealed. It could be, to me, that's, I've got two things there that now suggest are things that are happening right now with the Epstein files release, with what's going on in Venezuela. I could probably also spin that to be tariffs, where people aren't happy with the tariffs that we're being saddled with. And it's hurting the families. And it's ruining our relationships. What's the first thing that gets resolved when we're through with this? What's the first major thing that we notice? What's the big difference? What's the big difference that we see or feel or experience, so that we know that this is it, that we've done what we need to do. We've learned our lesson. We're not going back. Give me some indication of what that might be. That's my phone. I put on silence here. What are the indications that we've turned that corner and that we know that we're done and that we're moving forward? Seven of Cups. The illusions, we're not seeing that. We're not buying into the illusions anymore. I want to pause this for just a second here. Okay, sorry about that. I was referring back to my little manual there just to get some additional thoughts on what that could be. What this could be is we're looking and realizing that the damage that's been done isn't permanent. That it feels, the illusion is that there's permanence, but it's not a permanent damage. The crap that was going on, it can be undone. And maybe that's what it is we start realizing that we can undo the damage that's been done to us. And the challenge is justice. It's going to take time because the justice system is slow. But the lies, the misrepresentation, the justice system starts addressing these things. I mean, this could be, the deportations to Venezuela, where people's their rights were violated. Due process rights were completely violated, and maybe it's the justice system starts bringing these people back, or the tariffs that we're not paying for, right? And the Justice Department says, no, you know what? Those tariffs, that wasn't legal. Only Congress has the power of the purse, right? So it could be any of those things. The Epstein files and how, look, we've got so much to redact because, Trump's not in them at all. And then the Justice Department finally starts releasing the stuff that shows what was actually happening. Energy underneath, the King of Pentacles, there's just a wealth of information is underneath there. There's people with power and influence. They're exposed, or there's other power and influence that starts being utilized. Not sure what that card is. In the past, you got the Four of Wands. To me, this has always been people starting to come together again. That this is bipartisanship is starting to return. We're taking actions in a bipartisan nature. So how do we know we've turned that corner and we're not going back? Queen of Swords, the truth is coming out, and this is your personal truth. Everyone has to kind of square up and face, what did you support in the past? What do you support now? What is your truth? Overarching energy is that seven of Wands, which so it could have been the energy before was you had a few people like the American oligarchs trying to control the system, but we came together. We started to acknowledge our truth, and we started defending our Constitution and our institutions from those that had the power and the resource to try and undermine it. Lesson to be learned is the Nine of Pentacles. We have an abundance of wealth here. And we have a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience, but it's time to start sharing it. You don't need to hoard it all for yourself. It's okay to start sharing it and enjoy what you've got, but start sharing what you've got. Outcome is the Ace of Pentacles, and then you have your new beginning. We're there. I don't know how else to say it. We're there. Are we there? I don't think we're there, but we're there. It's kind of like you're coming home from vacation, if you will, right? Maybe it wasn't a good vacation, and you start seeing those familiar landmarks, right? Road signs, other landmarks. It could be a tree, it could be a mountain, it could be a lake, whatever. But as you get closer and closer to home, and you see more and more of the landmarks, and you start getting excited because I'm home. You know, I can finally get out of this vehicle that I'm in, and I can walk into my house and expand my soul and just be happy to be home again, because it was such a journey, such a long and arduous journey. And we're there. I mean, gosh, 2 Ace of Pentacles as the outcomes on 2 different readings. Are we there yet? And how will we know if we're there? You know, how will we know that we turned the corner? Ace of Pentacles, both of them. We're there, folks. Hang in there. I know it's there's going to be a little bit more, no doubt, but we're there. You know, Dave may have been a little close. Now, tarot is not great on timing. You know, on the other side of the veil, time is an illusion, right? It's a useful illusion, but it doesn't really exist. It exists like crazy here, but we are there. Hang in there, folks. We're there. We're going to get through this. I want to thank you all for watching this. I truly appreciate it. If you get a minute, go to our community page where I posted June's AI video of Kevin hitting the drums. And I want to give a couple of shout outs to folks that have made comments and thoughtful contributions. And we're looking for kitty cat and puppy dog shout outs. Let's see, what do we got here? Emily wants her 2 cats say hello. Say hello to my big boy Bagheera and my sweet little gal Rosie. I hope I said that right. Bagheera. Bagheera. I don't know. Emily, hey, shout out to your kitty cats. You got the moon. I have no idea how to pronounce your boy's name. Hopefully I didn't butcher it too badly. Natalie, yay. Hi, Natalie. How are you? Oh, yeah. She's listening to Christmas songs and rocking my radio with Star and Nugget. Okay, shout out to Star and Nugget. 8 of Pentacles, hard at work, making sure that Christmas is in a good place in your house. Natalie, I hope you're doing great. Okay, who we got here? Tracy Rivers wants a shout out for her fur baby. January 9th, Cinderella will be 13 years old and will want a secret card that day. Well, I'll hold on to that, Tracy. But we're going to give Cinderella a secret card on December 22nd. King of Swords. The truth of the matter is, Cinderella is going to be 13, and we're happy to have her as a fan of the show. Let's see. I'm getting up. Don't delete that because I got to come back. I got to make a note to come back on that one. Ladyfish 99, also known as, I believe, Patricia King. I'm going from memory here. Made a very wonderful contribution to our channel. Thank you so much for your continued support. Dave and I truly appreciate it. And you are the Queen of Pentacles. And then Friend of Crows also made a wonderful donation for beer money. I will not tell David about that. And since he's not watching this video, he's not gonna know, and we're not gonna tell him. Page of Swords, take that, David. I'll take the sword to you there. And let's see, I think I had one more. Yay! Sarah from Finland. Hi, Sarah. The cat lady without a cat. But she's got 2 Labradors named Leo and Rafu. And we're going to give a shout out to Leo and Rafu. And maybe the cat distribution system will help you with that 0 cat problem. And then we'll wrap it up with Kentucky Belle. Hi, Michelle. Yeah, Michelle mentioned that she's having trouble donating to the show. And she's had that issue before where she was donating in $2 increments. I mean, we totally appreciate when you donate, but it's absolutely not a requirement. Just having you guys watching the show and enjoying what we put out and leaving comments is a lot of fun. It's very rewarding. So Michelle, thank you so much for your thoughtfulness. And a shout out to your husband and your 2 new kittens, King of Cups. It's all about that big, strong man that got suckered into 2 more cats. Alrighty. Thank you so much, folks. And a card for the rest of us. We're going to wrap it up with the Knight of Pentacles. Just sit back and watch. We are at the end, folks. We're there, and that's really encouraging. Okay. Have a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.